It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Slippery Rocks head field hockey coach, Coach Rayell Wallace. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start coaching field hockey?
My mom actually coached high school field hockey for like 20 plus years. So, and I was pretty much born on the field. I was at a lot of practices, a lot of games. So that has had a huge influence on basically what I'm doing today.
Of course, what was it like going to UConn to play field hockey?
Going to UConn was great. I wanted to go to a school where I knew I was going to be challenged when I got there, and it was definitely a challenge, but it was a fun and rewarding one. Going to a program that was and has been very successful was what I wanted to do, and then being able to be a part of it was awesome.
How did it feel to get to put on that UConn jersey?
Pretty cool. It was good because I mean you work so hard, like whether it's going to a lot of club practices or the summer workouts and stuff, and when you're a freshman putting on a jersey to a school that you really wanted to go to, it's pretty rewarding.
Of course, what were some of your accomplishments at UConn, and what was it like getting to play against some of those big name teams?
Oh, accomplishments. I mean, as a team, we did really well. So my senior year, we made it to the Final Four, which was awesome. I would say that would be the biggest accomplishment that I would put out there. Um, I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
What was it like getting to play against some of your big rivals?
Oh, well, our biggest rival was Syracuse at the time, and that was before Syracuse moved to the ACC, right? So in the Big East Conference, our biggest rival overall was Syracuse, and those were my favorite games. They were the most competitive, the most uh you can say bloody, I guess. But those were the most fun.
Of course, coming out of UConn, what was it like getting started in playing professional volleyball for the U.S. field hockey?
Professional field hockey.
Hmm.
Um, well, having the chance to go to Lafayette to to be able to coach and also like play with the team and have a couple to have to be able to practice and be on the field with a team, but to also have um the coaches there help me train as well. That I'm very thankful for that semester. And then getting on the national team was like the I mean, you can't go any further, right? So basically when I got on the national team, it was almost like a it was very rewarding because I put in a lot of effort, but so did a lot of other people. In order for me to get there. I mean, my parents for sure put in a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of hours in the car, a lot of weekends at tournaments and stuff like that. And so did my sister because she was along for everything. um, but all those tournaments, those hours, the workouts in season, out of season, the lifting, the conditioning, all that stuff, basically all added up to being able to play on the national team. And it's so I mean, I don't think there's words to describe like how it feels to like put on a jersey and like hear your national anthem when you're in that jersey. You can't describe it.
What were some of your favorite memories and moments getting to represent US on the national team?
Hmm. What what made it so rewarding is that we had a so rewarding, but also kind of painful, right? Being able to train every day and play the sport that you love, but also almost like pushing yourself and your teammates every day. That was the most rewarding thing.
Of course, after your time representing the US on the field hockey level, what was it like getting into college coaching, going to Lafayette?
Um, there's a lot of things that players don't necessarily realize that coaches do. So it was an eye-opening experience because I mean, really, players see their coaches, yes, they see them in the offices, but they see them at practice. So, like, what do they do outside of that? Right? And there's so many things. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience, but also gave me the ability to understand what my UConn coaches did when we didn't see them, if that makes sense.
Of course, how was it like going to Miami, Ohio to become the assistant coach there?
It was great. It was one of the biggest learning experiences that I had. The ability to coach with Inyako and Chip. I learned so much from both of them, and definitely different things from both of them too. I learned a lot, whether it's on the field, off the field, how to change your culture, but then also how to really, how do I say this? Like how to still be in the coaching profession and then also have a great family outside of it too.
Of course, how did your time at Lafayette and Miami help you to become the head coach for the first time at Slippery Rock?
It was definitely all those lessons that I learned, right? The every year that that you coach, you have a different team. So you're learning different lessons every year. So the ability to take my semester that I had at Lafayette and then the 5 years that I had at Miami really helped in preparing myself for a head coaching job.
Of course, during your 5 years at Miami, what were some of your accomplishments helping that team?
I mean, we greatly improved for sure. Now they're a powerhouse in the MAC for sure. Going to the NCAA tournament was awesome. The culture definitely changed. Um, the standards went up every year. You know, there was, yes, you can look at the list of awards or like the list of championships, and it does say how much we improved, but it's not the same as seeing it year to year and actually being in it year to year.
How did it feel the first time you got announced to become the head coach at Slippery Rock?
It was pretty cool. I had to wait a year though, because the first year that I was here, we did not have a season. So yes, I've been here for 2 years, but we've only had one season so far. So last year was pretty cool, pretty rewarding again to get that announcement.
What is it like, obviously, getting to build your own culture and have the things that you learned from both of your times as assistant coach bring over to the head coach role?
Can you say that again? You broke up
Mhm.
on a little bit.
What is it like, obviously, getting to build your own culture at Slippery Rock?
It's um it can be challenging, right? But the growth that we've seen over the last 2 years is huge. Whether it's on the field, in the weight room or in the locker room, the culture has changed greatly, and it's awesome to see. But I've definitely taken things from each stop that I've been on, basically. So I've taken things definitely from UConn. You kind of take the things that you like there, and then I took some things from Lafayette, from the US team, and also things from Miami. So it's almost like creating a culture that you believe in, but also is strongly influenced by every stop that you've been on or been at on the way.
Of course, how has your time playing college field hockey and professional field hockey helped you into the coach that you are now?
It's helped me a lot. um the same thing. You definitely take things from coaches that, and it's not just from where you've played. It's also maybe camps that you went to, or training weeks or sessions that you had from other coaches and stuff. So you take sayings or definitions or playing ideas from a lot of people, and it's kind of, what do you think would work best for the players you have now? So like I said, every step of the way has greatly influenced where I am today and how I coach, and kind of the ideas that I put into it.
What are some of the game day traditions that you have brought over to Slippery Rock?
Heart rate spike. I wouldn't say it's like a game day tradition. I think that like the girls should be able to come up with their own game day rituals. Okay, so they really come up with what they like to do before and stuff like that, but I definitely get them to do a heart rate spec before.
Who are some of the teams that you face in your conference each week?
Well, the thing with our schedule is we make like the beginning, I don't know, third, you can say. So I scheduled those games, and then I'd say the 2/3 of the season is scheduled by the conference. So we're in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. So we play um, Bloomsburg and Westchester, Shippensburg, Millersville. So we have a huge conference that we play. But yeah.
What is that like, obviously getting to go to Bloomsburg and Westchester and getting to play against them?
Well, our conference is a very strong conference. So every team that we play within our conference is like a huge game. But I really enjoy being in probably the strongest conference in Division II. It makes every game exciting. It makes it meaningful, and it's challenging. And that's what's exciting. You want to have games definitely that are challenging, that that you can test, like, not only your knowledge and how you prepare the team, but also test the team as well.
Of course, as a head coach, what are some of your game day traditions that you have done?
I work out. I have to work out on game day, just it kind of gives me time to get some energy out for sure, right? But to also be able to go through the game again in my head. So that's like my personal thing, is I pretty much always work out on game day. But that's really it.
Of course, how has it been like, obviously standing on the sidelines and being in that head coaching role and coaching your team to a victory?
Awesome. It's so great when you're when you're coaching a game, and it's almost like they completely understand what you're trying to get them to do, right? And when they have the ability to like show it on game day, it's it's awesome, right? I always say like, oh my gosh, that was the drill. If there was a drill that we were really working on because we think that it'll work. And once they do it and it works, it's like this aha moment for everybody. Victories are amazing, of course, right? Winning is always fun. But even the days when if the team played well and you didn't win, I'm still happy on those days, right? Because you probably saw growth and improvement and all of those things. So really, when you get to see them showcase what they've been working on and what we've been working on, those are the rewarding times.
What does the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes looking to go play field hockey?
Whew. Usually what happens, or I would suggest to happen, is to have players email coaches, send them what tournaments they're going to, right? It's always a good idea to visit campus too, even before you talk to the coach, because sometimes you can step on a campus and be like, oh, I really love it. Or you step on a campus and you're like, this is not for me. So even doing that before you start to really talk to any coach, I think is a good idea. So emailing coaches, excuse me, I always like to see them play before we start like a really strong lines of communication. And then it's, hey, come to camp, that would be great, right? And or come to campus for a visit. And then we kind of go from there.
Of course, on the official visit, what does it look like for those prospective student athletes looking to come to Slippery Rock?
Depends on the year, or not the year, it depends on the time of year. If there's students on campus, if it's during the school year, then we'll usually have one of our players take them on a tour because that's a great opportunity for them to meet the players and to be able to see campus too in the eyes of a student athlete, right? So having a campus tour, have lunch with a couple of different players so they meet more of the team. Definitely athletics facility tour if they're really interested in a specific major, if we're able to set up a meeting with a professor or attend a class in that major. We try to do that, and then also they'll definitely have a meeting with Missy and I.
Of course, what are some of your future plans as head coach for the program at Slippery Rock?
To keep getting better. Yeah, really this season we're looking to raise the standards again. We want to be the most fit team in the conference, which then also allows us to be very competitive in the conference. So we're looking to do both of those things and to keep improving and keep raising the standards, and also be successful, yes, on the field, but also in the classroom too.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to become college field hockey players?
Keep playing other sports. I might be biased, but I was a multi-sport athlete. So I ran track and swam and played field hockey until I graduated high school. And there are so many things that an athlete can learn from other sports, whether it's an individual sport or it's another team sport. You can learn so much and be able to apply it to like your number one sport that you're going to go for. I also think it's important to be able to play other sports for they always say for like the lack of burnout then later. And I also, you can tell by how somebody moves on the field whether they just play field hockey or they play other sports too.
Of course, what advice would you give those college athletes that are looking to go into playing the U.S. field hockey like you did?
Um, you got to work hard. working hard, just as hard out of season that you work in season. That's key.
Of course, what advice would you give those people that are looking to become coaches, whether they're assistant coaches or even head coaches?
What advice would I give fellow coaches?
Mm-hmm.
Whew. What I learned for myself, right, and this isn't not for the team that I'm coaching or anything. What I've learned for myself is that a day off is really important. So a day, even in season, when you don't go into the office, can be really important for someone. And I learned that at Miami for sure, that in order to be better the next day for the team, I need to take that day off seriously, and to along with that, to also we have an 8 to 8 rule where if it's not very important, please don't contact the coaches or the athletic trainer after 8 o'clock until 8 a.m. the next day. So emergencies, that's one thing, right? Of course, I'm here for everything, and Missy is there and Molly's there for sure. However, it's important to take care of yourself is basically what I'm saying. And by doing that, kind of setting ground rules of like, I'm not going to be in the office on the day off. Probably going to be doing work anyway, but I'm not going to be in the office. And, you know, we also need our time as well.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Slippery Rock Field Hockey program at?
So my social media is at Rayell Aaron. That's my middle name. And then it's at, I want to say SRU Field Hockey is our Instagram, or Slippery Rock Field Hockey. I should know this, right? Sorry. Use your editing, right? It's at SRU Field Hockey.
Thank you again, Coach Rayell Wallace, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the head field hockey coach at Slippery Rock.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Rayell Wallace, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free